In the next few minutes, we're going to show you how to travel safely when you have children in your vehicle, how to use common sense, good practices, and how to involve your whole family in safe travel. We call it car time.
It's really as simple as 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's what this video is all about. 4 stages of child safety in vehicles, covering from birth through age 12. That's easy to remember and easy to apply to your car time.
Every year, about 10,000 children 12 and under are injured, some of them fatally in traffic collisions in Canada. Surveys show that as many as 1/3 of Canadian children are not properly restrained when traveling in motor vehicles.
So we'd like to start by introducing you to the Kids Zone, the back of your vehicle, and we'll show you why it's the safest place for your kids to travel.
In order to do that, we'd like to explain why the back seat works so well. Today's vehicles
are designed knowing that protecting passengers and drivers is the top priority. Car makers do this by building a strong cage around you. Around this cage
goes the rest of the car, including roof, hood, and trunk. They're designed to be crumple zones, to crush inward and downward to absorb impact if a collision occurs.
Here in the back, especially in the middle position, there's lots of space, and it's as far away as you can get from the point of a frontal impact. Statistics show that kids of all ages are over 25% safer from the risk of death in a crash when they're back here. Just one of the big reasons why the Kids Zone is the safest place of all for your children.
Up here, the airbags are designed to protect occupants during a frontal collision. But if those occupants are kids, 12 or under, and they're sitting close to the airbag, they'll likely be seriously, even fatally injured when the airbag deploys.
So please remember, keep your children in the back, in the Kids Zone, through all 4 stages of car time, from birth through age 12. If your vehicle doesn't have a Kids Zone, check the owner's manual, get in contact with the manufacturer, or call Transport Canada and find out how to make traveling with your child as safe as possible. Okay, let's begin.
Life with a new baby is a magical time. It's a challenging and exciting stage in the life of any family. Bath time, play time, changing time, feeding time,
and car time. All those times when your baby is in a vehicle.
To understand how infant seats protect little ones, it helps to understand 2 things: why infant seats go in backwards and how babies are made. Well, not how they're made, how they're designed. First, let's look at babies themselves.
Now, even though babies have the same anatomy as older children, their proportions are different. Their bones, muscles, and ligaments go through a lot of changes and growth in the first year. For instance, their heads are quite large compared to the rest of their bodies, and controlling the motion of this big, heavy head is too much for the neck, which is weak in a young baby. When you hold a baby, you carefully support the neck.
And when babies travel, it's the same thing. They need to be restrained securely so their heads don't move around when you turn a corner, or accelerate, or stop.
So, why does an infant seat go in backwards? Simple. When your baby is around this way, he or she is really well protected in the case of a collision. At the moment of a collision, the force of the impact is transferred here, along this part of the infant seat, and spread out across a broad area of the baby's back, safely cradling your little one.
If my daughter's not up front with me, how can I watch her?
As a mother, I understand this one. But it really is a question of safety. Better to know that our precious little ones are riding safely in an infant seat behind us than run the risk of losing our own concentration at the wheel, endangering everyone in the vehicle, including the little one. If you need to attend to your baby, find a safe place, pull over, and park the car. Yes, and one more thing. Never, never ride with a baby or small child in your arms or on your lap. Not on the way home from the hospital with a newborn, not ever.
So, here's how to install an infant seat. Make sure the baby is properly secured in the seat. Then buckle it in. Double check to make sure it's right and tight. It will help to read the book that comes with your infant restraint before you use it. And keep the book handy so you can review it periodically as your baby grows and make any necessary adjustments. For older infants, you may consider using a convertible seat. Use it in the rear-facing position until the baby has reached the weight and length specified by the manufacturer.
Use a rear-facing seat until your baby weighs 10 kilograms or 22 pounds. Most babies will be about a year old. Check the booklet that comes with your infant restraint or convertible seat for more details.
Remember, the safest seats are only safe if you use them. See you on the other side.
So these are the things you need to remember about infants and car time.
1. Children in the back of the car. The kids zone.
2. Always use a rear-facing restraint, no substitutions, until the baby weighs 10 kilograms or 22 pounds and is about a year old.
3. Properly place baby into the rear-facing restraint, ensuring harness straps are snug.
4. Check that the seat belt is properly fastened and tight.
Okay, on to stage 2, facing forward in the kids zone. Here we go.
Ah, yes. The parenting challenges continue. With a stage 2 child, it's even trickier because these kids have discovered walking, using their hands, how to get into mischief, and how to express themselves when they're not pleased about something. Car time for your young child is an important time because this is when you can start to teach your child about safety at home, at play, and when traveling by car. Be a good role model. Buckle yourself up too, every time you're in a vehicle.
It's important to understand why a forward-facing child seat is the right kind of seat for a child between about 1 and about 4.5 years old. At this stage, babies have grown and developed dramatically.
Their backs and necks are stronger, they can stand up, and they're walking. The forward-facing child seat is now a perfect fit and an important part of car time. When a vehicle is moving forward, everything and everyone in it are moving forward as well. Watch. If there's a sudden stop and your young passenger is not properly restrained,
Children can get badly hurt or killed. That's why you need one of these.
when your child is properly restrained, at the moment of impact, forward motion of the child is absorbed by the harness of the child restraint itself. The child restraint is kept in place by the seatbelt.
And by a tether strap, which attaches the top of the child restraint to the vehicle. Tests and real-life collision reports show that the child restraint only works properly when the tether strap is properly attached in the right spot. As you can see, when things are in working order, your little passenger stays perfectly in place, safe and happy. There are different types of child seats on the market, and they work in different ways. No matter which one you choose, there are 3 main rules. 1. Read the instructions. Your manual will show you proper installation procedures and tell you about weight and height limits. Don't lose this booklet. Keep it handy where you can refer to it as your child grows. 2. Always use the child seat, even on the shortest trips to the corner store, to the daycare center, to visit friends, whatever. 3. Do some thinking and planning. Will you need to move your child restraint between 2 or more vehicles? Do you need more than 1 child restraint because you have more than 1 child? Canadian winters mean bulky clothes, like snowsuits, so you'll be adjusting harnesses for that, as well as for the fact that your child will grow a lot during stage 2. Bottom line, choose the seat that suits your needs.
My son, he's 3. He's big. He looks like he's 5. Isn't it time for him to have a booster seat?
What's your rush? No, really, what's your rush? The longer you can provide the crash protection level of a child restraint, the better. And if your kid fusses, like kids do, don't back down. Explain why it's important to sit in the child's seat. Kids are smart. Soon they'll begin to catch on.
Okay, here's how you properly install a forward-facing child restraint. First, put it in the back seat, not in the front. The seat belt goes through here, and out here, and clicks here. Adjust it until it's tight. Now, locate the tether strap anchor and attach the tether strap, making sure it's good and tight. If you don't have a tether anchor, get one installed.
Now, add one child.
Secure the child in the seat. Now, adjust the shoulder harness for best fit. That's right, and make sure it's snug. Oh, don't forget.
Use the forward-facing child seat from the time your baby outgrows the rear-facing seat at around a year old until your child weighs 18 kilograms or 40 pounds and is around 4.5 years old. You will find that some child seats can be used longer until your child weighs 22 kilograms or 48 pounds. Follow the guidelines for maximum child weight and height that are stated in the instruction booklet and on the label of your child's seat. See you on the other side. And remember, the safest seats are only safe if you use them.
Using a forward-facing child seat is easy if you follow these tips.
1. The safest place for your young traveler is in the back, in a forward-facing child restraint until they've reached a weight of 18 kilograms or 40 pounds at about 4.5 years old. Some child seats allow longer use. Check the manual.
2. Secure the child seat with a seat belt and attach the tether strap.
3. Place your child securely in the child seat and fasten the harness, making sure it's snug.
4. No substitutions, no shortcuts.
Okay, ready for stage 3? Booster seat, kids. Here we go.
Ages 5, 6, 7, and 8. That's stage 3 of car time. And it's a time of big changes, saying goodbye to this. And saying hello to this. Saying so long to this. And hello to this.
And these.
Children who are over the maximum weight or height for their child seat, usually at 4.5 years of age, are ready to move out of the forward-facing car seat. But before they can be safe sitting in the regular seat using just the seatbelt system of your vehicle, there's another stage, the booster seat stage.
Booster seats are designed to bridge the gap between child restraints and the vehicle's own restraint system, the seat belts. When children are from about 4.5 to about 8 years old, booster seats are the safest way for them to travel because they position the vehicle's seat belt properly over the child's body. This interaction between child, booster seat, and seat belt is important. It means working with your child to get to know how and why booster seats work. But remember, freeze! Always get the seat belt low and snugly over the hips, instead of across the abdomen where it could do severe damage in the case of a collision. Freeze! Never place the shoulder belt behind the child or even under the child's arm. Bottom line, a booster seat is safety equipment, just like this, this, or this. There's another key point here. If there's any group that can begin to buy into the Kids Zone concept, it's the stage 3 kids. Make car travel fun. Remind kids that using a booster seat helps them to be more comfortable and allows them to see what's going on around them and outside the car.
My daughter is almost 7. Is it time for her to sit at the front?
Safety means being properly protected all the time, whether you're an infant, age 12, or even older. It's really important to make the back a desirable, natural, even a cool place for a kid to be.
So, here's how you install a booster seat. Put it in the back. Add one child. Yo, buddy. And buckle up securely. Oh, and by the way, moms, dads, and caregivers, If the booster seat is not occupied by a child, it must be still buckled into place or removed from the vehicle. You don't want it flying around in the case of a collision or a sudden stop.
Use booster seats specially designed for vehicles until your child reaches a weight of 27 kilograms or 60 pounds and is around 8 years old. Check the weight and height limit prescribed by the manufacturer of the booster. See you on the other side. And remember, the safest seats are only safe if you use them.
Using a booster seat is easy if you follow these tips. 1. Children between 4.5 and 8 belong in the rear of the car, the kids zone.
2. Choose a booster seat that fits properly in your vehicle.
3. Ensure that your child is correctly buckled into the booster seat.
4. Double check. And now, the final frontier, stage 4 of car time, the 8 to 12-year-old stage. Are you ready?
This video module is rated KZ, Kid Zone, for education and enjoyment of an audience between 8 to 12 years of age. If you are under 8, you don't belong here yet. If you're an adult, then thanks for the use of the VCR.
Welcome to Car Time, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're in stage 4, the final stage of traveling in the kids zone. Grown-ups have had a hand in looking after your safety since you were a tiny baby, but now you're growing older, taking on more responsibility for your own safety when you're traveling. Well, today, we're going to talk to you about the rules of the ride, survival, smart thinking in the kids zone. Okay, fact, life moves fast.
Really fast! As you know, when you were in a vehicle, you were also moving fast. If the car's going 100 kilometers an hour, you are too!
Every year, about 10,000 children 12 and under are injured, sometimes fatally, in traffic collisions in Canada. Many aren't wearing their seatbelts or not wearing them correctly. Why? I just don't get it. Use your melon. Rule of the ride number 1. Buckle up and do it right every time.
I'm Super Safety Mighty Hero Person, off on another adventure to save the world! Well, actually, I can't fly, so I got my parents to drive me. Yes, off to save the world in my customized kid zone, which is my private office.
Except when I have to share with my grandpa and my little sister.
Yes, Super Safety Mighty Hero Person, driving right to the heart of the trouble to save the world. And whenever I'm on a mission, I take superhero precautions. First, I ensure that the doors on either side of me are properly closed. Second, I keep important mission equipment. You know, sort of like travel games and comic books and stuff like that. Keep you from getting bored, you know, like in the seat pocket, like right beside me. Because, well, you'll never know when you could be delayed in traffic. Third, I make sure that my area is clear of anything that could become a projectile in case of a, you know, collision or sudden stop. Fourth, I make sure I'm using appropriate restraining procedures. You know, belting in. I ensure that the lap belt is out across my hips, never across my stomach, and I make sure that the shoulder belt is across my chest, like so. The seat belts, as you know, are a system. This part and this part working together to keep superheroes safe! Oh, and by the way, I also make sure my entire support team is belted and snug as well!
Ready, Grandpa?
On all missions, you can expect turbulence from potholes and the vehicle like turns on the way to your mission location. Oh, good, I'm ready. No, I'm not just ready. I'm Super Safety Mighty Hero Person, off to save the world!
But what about airbags? Airbags, located in the front of lots of passenger vehicles, are dangerous if you're a child 12 or under and sit close to one. An airbag can hurt you badly when it goes off. Did you know that airbags deploy at up to 300 kilometers an hour? And that's not where you want to be. So rule of the ride number 2, stay in the back seat, the kids zone.
The shoulder belt is always in the way.
They took it behind me. What's the big deal?
If you don't use the shoulder belt, then you don't have the maximum protection that you can get for your upper body. Remember the melon? If you only have the lap belt portion done up, what's to prevent your upper body from pitching forward in case of a crash? Use them together, both lap belt and shoulder belt, every time. And if you're sitting in the center of the vehicle and there is no shoulder belt, make sure the lap belt is done up properly, both low and snugly over the hips.
So, for you grown-ups who need a refresher, here's how you properly install an 8 to 12-year-old in the rear of a car. Emily, if you please. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey. And remember, the rules of the ride apply every time you're on board. Whether it's a tour across the country or a trip to the corner store, make sure you're safe. And make sure the rest of your family is safe too.
Don't cut corners. Remember the rules of the ride. Be safe, healthy, and well. And stay cool. See you on the other side.
So here for kids 8 to 12 are the rules of the ride.
1. Buckle up. Wear your seatbelt.
2. The kids zone is your zone. Stay in the back to stay safe.
3. Properly adjust shoulder belt and adjust the lap belt low across hips and snug.
4. No matter how short the trip is, use your seatbelt every time you ride in the car.
So there you have it, the 4 steps to safe vehicle travel from birth through age 12. It really isn't that difficult when you break it up. Stage 1, rear-facing infant seat.
Stage 2, forward-facing child seat. Stage 3, a booster seat that works with the vehicle seat belts.
And Stage 4, properly belted in and sitting comfortably in the rear. If you have any questions or concerns about car time and your family's safety, talk to the pros. Transport Canada can help you through our 800 number.
And we can also help you get connected to technical help. Our Car Time website can also give you fast answers and good connections too. The website address is...
Be smart.
Be safe. Make car time an important time in your life.
See you out there on the road.